dear learners, welcome to teaching learning session of Sociology. Today we'll discuss Block 3, Unit 10 of BSOE 143. In this unit, we'll discuss about Anthropocene and climate change. The geological time scale or GTS describes the different time periods of geological continuum. We divide the different time periods, right? The geological, we divide geological continuum into the different time period, and the geological time scale describes these different time periods. And the largest division of the continuum had been termed as eons. Understand few terminology, then only you will be understand this chapter. What is eon? The eon is the largest division of continuum, of this geological continuum. And then eons are again classified into different eras. We have a geological time, then that is the geological time period. Then these geological time periods are divided into eons. Eons are further classified into eras. Uh, and the eras in turn are reclassified into periods, epochs, and ages. The geological time scale is basically a system of chronological dating that categorizes the geological strata in time. What is GTS? GTS is nothing but a system of chronological dating, and that categorize the geological strata in time. On the basis of GTS, we can find out which is the ancient one. Geological strata or stratigraphy is usually used by geologists, paleontologists, and others and other earth scientists to describe the timing of the events and their relationship in geological history. On the basis of geological strata, we can find out which is more ancient, which is the ancient one. So we can find out on the basis of this geological strata, scientist describes the timing of events and the relationship in geological history. That's why GTS is very important. What is Anthropocene and how Anthropocene has been originated? The term Anthropocene is combination of the coinage anthropos and scene. Anthropos and scene, and this anthropos is derived from the word anthropos, which is an ancient Greek word meaning human. Anthropos means human, and seen is derived from kainos, which is also an ancient Greek word meaning new or recent. So anthro is derived from a Greek word, ancient Greek word, which means human, and seen is derived from ancient Greek word, which means new or recent. So Anthropocene, right? So on that's why we call it Anthropocene, human and new. Soviet scientists had been using this term since as early as 1960s. So this term is not very older one. So Soviet scientists started using this word from 1960s. And the geological period is one of the several subdivisions of geological time. These subdivisions are the periods from elements of a hierarchical of several divisions into which the geologists have fragmented the earth history. See, the scientists have divided the geological time or the GTS geological time scale into various subdivision into various periods, and how these subdivisions or periods has been divided. It is on the basis of hierarchy of several division, and on the basis of these periods, the scientists or the geologists have fragmented the earth's history. To understand the earth's history, the geologists have divided the times into various spans, into various periods. Eras and eras are larger subdivision than periods, while periods themselves may be rightly divided into epoch and ages. So eras, eons, then eras, then periods, then epochs and ages. Right? Eras are the larger than, or the era is larger than the periods, or periods is further divided into ages. The trajectory starting from very beginning of the formation of earth towards the emergence of man on the earth must be studied very carefully to understand the concept of Anthropocene. If you really want to understand the concept of Anthropocene, so it is very important that you should understand the trajectory, how Earth has been formed, and how and when the man has emerged on the Earth. It must be studied very carefully. Then only one can understand these periods, or then one can understand the Anthropocene. If you really want to understand, if you really want to know about human life on the earth and how earth has been evolved, how human life has been evolved, then one should carefully study the formation of earth and the emergence of men on the earth. Then only one can understand about the Anthropocene. The geological time span is divided into eons, which is further divided into cumulative stages and substages of eras, periods, and ages. So GTS is divided into eons. So the first is GTS. GTS is divided into eons. Eons are divided into eras, and eras into periods, and periods into ages. So this is how we have divided the geological time span to study about the evolution of Earth and humans. The eons are first ever division of Earth since antiquity. So the first ever division is eon. The first division is eon. Eon is then eon into, then further eras, periods, and ages. So let us first understand what is Hadean eon. Hadean eon is what? This is the first era. Hadean eon was the first of its kind. It was the first one which came around 4540 million years ago, when the earth was undergoing its formation. Hadean eon is that time when the earth was undergoing its formation, around 40 million years ago, 4540 million years ago. A scientist Cloud labeled the period as a pre-ancient, existing even before the earliest known rocks on the earth. According to the Cloud was a scientist. This period, the Hadean eon, is the period. It is known as a pre-ancient period, and this period existed before the earlier known rocks on the earth. This period is that ancient period. The earth had just formed, and the conditions were unsettling during this eon. Very few geological traces of this eon remains on the earth. Hardly any geological traces of this eon had been there or has been there on the earth. This is the earliest eon, the pre-ancient eon, and in this period, the Earth is undergoing through various stages. It is the formation, it is the eon of formation of Earth. After Hedion, it comes Archean eon. What is Archean eon? The next eon on the Earth after Hedion is Archean eon that existed around 4,000 million years ago. That was 4540 million years ago, and this eon is around 4,000 million years ago. At this point of time, the Earth's crust had just cooled down enough. During this eon, the Earth crust had just cooled down enough so that one can survive. This permitted the formation of continents, and the life started to roll over very slowly since free atmosphere oxygen was still lacking. During Archean eon, this Earth started cooling, and during this eon, the continents has been formed, and the life started to roll over. But still, there is a lack of atmospheric oxygen. Life was during this eon, the life was very simple, mostly comprising of shallow water microbial mats. Only few microbial mats were there. Life was there, but that life was very simple, like microbes. These microbial mats are nothing but multi-layered sheets of microorganisms, mostly bacteria and single-celled organisms. So during Archean eon, the life started on the life the this during this eon this Earth has been cooled down, but there is a lack of oxygen, and few microorganisms started their life on the Earth, and these microorganisms are the single-celled organisms like bacteria and other single-celled organisms. So Hedion, then Archean eon, and then comes the Proterozoic eon. Proterozoic eon is what? This eon was followed by Proterozoic, which existed around 2500 to 541 million years ago, when earlier forms of life like bacteria, algae, and jellyfish began emerging. During previous period, single-celled microorganisms and bacteria were there, but in Proterozoic eon, this eon existed 2500 to 541 million years ago, and earlier form of life like bacteria, algae, jellyfish, these began to emerge, and this was the longest eon of Earth's geological time scale for the first time. This was the largest eon, and this eon was subdivided into three eras. For the first time, the eon has been divided into eras, and this Proterozoic era was divided into three eras. That is Paleoproterozoic, Mesoproterozoic, and Neoproterozoic era. So, Hedion eon, we discussed about the Hedion eon, Archean eon, and the Proterozoic era. For the first time, the Proterozoic era is divided into three eras. Those were eons, eras, and the eras are Paleoproterozoic era, Mesoproterozoic era, and Neoproterozoic era. These Proterozoic eon covered the time from the production of atmospheric oxygen on the Earth to just before the emergence of complex form of life such as corals. So this is the as we discussed. This is the largest eon. Proterozoic eon is the largest eon of the Earth, and this Proterozoic era covered the time when the production of atmospheric oxygen has just begun, right? And from the emergence, or from the production of atmospheric era till the emergence of complex form of life. So during Proterozoic era, oxygen was there. The oxygen star, the this atmospheric oxygens were there, right? That is the production of atmospheric oxygen was there. And in Proterozoic era, uh, the life is a complex type of a life was there, while in Archean era and the Hedion era, the simpler form of life was there, like single microbial organisms were there, algae, bacteria, and few other microorganisms during during Proterozoic era, the emergence of complex life started, right? Then, after Proterozoic era is Phanerozoic eon. Phanerozoic eon, which is a current eon in the geological time span. This is the current eon. Proterozoic was the previous one. After Proterozoic eon, the Phanerozoic eon is there, and this is the current eon in the GTS. It spans across 541 million years to the present, because till 541 it was Proterozoic, then from 541 million years to the Proterozoic is the Phanerozoic eon. It is a eon in which the most abundant form of animals and plants existed. Because in Proterozoic eras, the complexity of life has been started. The life form was complex in Proterozoic era, and in Phanerozoic era there was the more evolution, and the most abundant forms of animals and plants exist in this eon. This eon has three eras, like Proterozoic eras. It also has a three eras, Proterozoic eon. This eon has three eras: Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and Cenozoic era. And for the first time, these eras are further divided into periods. Paleozoic era, right? What is Paleozoic era? This era saw the evolution of lizards, crocodiles, snakes, turtles, mammals, and dinosaurs. So during Paleozoic era, these dinosaurs, or the lizard, crocodile, and reptiles, turtle, mammals started existing. These living beings breathed oxygen on the dry land and proliferated further to display diversity, because there was an oxygen and they were taking the oxygen. This era is further divided into periods, and there are the six periods of this era, that is the Paleozoic era. Paleozoic era of what? Paleozoic era of Phanerozoic eon. Phanerozoic eon is divided into eras. First is Paleozoic era, and Paleozoic era is further divided into six periods. And these six periods are Cambrian period, Ordovician period, Silurian period, Devonian period, Carboniferous period, and the Permian period. So the first period is Cambrian period. Cambrian period. What is Cambrian period? This era ran from 541 millions to 485 million years ago. The evolution of animal bodies took place on a wide scale. Most species of marine animals underwent evolution in this period. In Cambrian period, there was an evolution in the marine animals. Marine animals underwent evolution in this period, Cambrian period. Next is Ordovician period. What is Ordovician period? This period spanned from 485 millions to 444 million years ago, and many species still prevalent today, such as coral. The next period is Silurian period. This period, which spans 24.6 million years and has existed 443.8 million years ago, a significant evolution of the period was the appearance of the jawfish and the bony fish. So, in Silurian period, we saw the jawfish and the bony fish. After this is a Devonian period. The Devonian period spanned across 60.3 million years. It was this period that the several seed-bearing plants began to appear. In Devonian period, several seed-bearing plants began to appear, and the various types of insects also appear during the Devonian period. The vertebrates are the being with spinal cord surfaced during the Devonian period. Vertebrates got adapted to walking on the land because of the spinal cord, and their strong pectoral and pelvic fins slowly matured into legs. So they started walking on the land. After this comes the Carboniferous period. What is Carboniferous period? This period gets its name from the coal. Since there were many coal beds formed globally during this period, Carboniferous. The state saw the development of amphibian mammals and reptiles. This was the period of the development of amphibian mammals and reptiles. Several of their forms, like lizards, snakes, and crocodiles, appeared. And Carboniferous period is divided into two epochs, such as Pennsylvanian and Mississippian. This Carboniferous, for the first time, is again divided into epoch or ages. The first is Pennsylvanian and Mississippian. Then comes Permian period. Permian period is the last period of Paleozoic era. This period was predominated by the reptiles, birds, and the mammals. And then the Permian period is again divided into three ages or epochs. That is the um, Silurian epoch, Guadapolian, and the Lopingian epoch. And then comes Mesozoic era. Mesozoic era, right? The second era is Mesozoic era. The Mesozoic era is also called the age of reptiles. It lasted from 252 to 66 millions of years ago. It consisted, again, Mesozoic era is divided into periods, into three periods basically: the Triassic period, Jurassic, and the Cretaceous period. Mesozoic era is the age of reptile. It is divided into three periods: the Triassic period, Jurassic period, and the Cretaceous period. Triassic period, this is the first and the shortest period of Mesozoic era. And the dinosaur first appeared in the late Triassic period. So dinosaur appeared in the Mesozoic era and in Triassic Mesozoic era and the Triassic period of Mesozoic era. Then comes the Jurassic period. The first bird appeared during the Jurassic period, and they evolved from the species of dinosaurs called theropods. The first bird was evolved from the species of dinosaurs called the theropods, and the first bird appeared during the Jurassic period. Earliest lizards and the marine reptiles were abundantly found during the Jurassic period. Then Cretaceous period. Cretaceous period lasted about 145 to 66 million years ago. It was the longest geological period of Phanerozoic eon. Phanerozoic eon, Cretaceous period is a part of a Phanerozoic eon, and this Cretaceous period is the longest geological period of Phanerozoic eon. The period saw the appearance of first flowering plants. New kind of birds and mammals started surfacing in this period, while large many dinosaur and reptile died out during this period. So birds and mammal started surfacing during this period, that is in Cretaceous period, and it was in this period the dinosaur and reptiles, many of the reptiles died. Then comes Cenozoic era. Cenozoic era is after Mesozoic era comes the last era of Phanerozoic era called the Cenozoic era of Phanerozoic eon. It should be eon. Phanerozoic eon called the Cenozoic era. This era is again subdivided into two separate periods. Cenozoic is again divided into two periods, right? It is the Earth's current geological era, existing for last 66 million years of the Earth's history. So the recent era is the Cenozoic era, and it is existing from the last 66 million years of the Earth's history. It is moderately balanced with the fair dominance of mammals, birds, and flowering plants, a cooling and drying climate, and the current arrangement of the continents. During Cenozoic era, there is a current arrangement of the continents. This era is balanced with the dominance of mammals. Mammals are there, birds are there, flowering plants are there, and a cooling and drying climate exists during this Cenozoic era. This era is better known as the age of mammals. This era is known as the age of the mammals, and this era is further divided into two periods: Tertiary period and Quaternary period. Right? Then again, this is divided into two periods: Tertiary period and Quaternary period. What is Tertiary period? Tertiary period represented the first geological period in the Cenozoic era that lasted for approximately 66 million to 2.6 million years ago. So it is the first geological period of Cenozoic era, and it lasted for around 66 million to 2.6 million years ago. This period began with extinction of non-avian dinosaurs, and during this period the non-avian dinosaur extended. This period have five epochs. The first one is the Paleocene epoch. What is the Paleocene epoch? The Paleocene is a geological epoch that lasted for about 66 to 56 million years ago. One major event of this age is that major climatic modification took place during Paleocene age. A huge amount of carbon was released into atmosphere and ocean systems. This resulted in the spike of global temperature. Because of emission of carbon in the atmosphere and the ocean during the Paleocene epoch or age resulted in the spike or rise in the global temperature. The second is the Eocene age. This age lasted from about 56 to 33.9 years ago. In this epoch, greenhouse gases played a very significant role in controlling the surface temperature, bringing a drastic change in climate. In this age, and this age lasted for about 56 to 33.9 million years ago, and during this age, the greenhouse gases played a very significant role in controlling the surface temperature. And this age was responsible for drastic change in the climate. The next age is the Oligocene. This epoch extended from 33.9 million to 23 million years before the present. The epoch saw a global climate change. There was increase in the ice volume and accompanying decrease in the sea level. During this age, there was a rise in the ice volume and decrease in the sea level. All these are the climate changes. Then comes the Miocene epoch. This epoch is said to have existed 23.03 to 5.333 million years ago. The climate slowly cooled now and entered into the ice age during this Miocene epoch. A major event in this epoch was the first evolution of the apes. During Miocene epoch, the apes evolved. By the end of Miocene epoch, a very notable things happened. The plants, the animals, and the mammals were comparatively modern. And then comes the Pliocene epoch. The epoch extended from 5.33 million to 2.58 million years ago. It was a quite warm period. Carbon dioxide level were almost the same as of today. The end of this epoch saw a formation of ice caps leading to a significant climate change. The most significant development was appearance of human ancestors. With this epoch, the tertiary period comes to an end, giving rise to quaternary period, which is the last and the most recent period of Cenozoic era. Before we start the quaternary period of the Cenozoic era, let me first again summarize it for you, how we have divided. That is the geological time is divided into eon. Eon is further divided into eras. Eras are further divided into periods, and periods are further divided into ages, right? The first eon was the Hedion. Hedion is what? Hedion is the first eon on the earth. It was that period that when the earth was undergoing its formation. The first eon is the Hedion eon, right? This is the pre-ancient eon, right? The earth was just formed and was in unsettling conditions, right? After this comes the second eon is the archeon. After the formation of the Earth, Archeon is the second eon on the Earth, and it existed around 4,000 million years ago. And during this eon, the Earth just cooled down enough, and a few microbes like bacteria and single cell organisms started existing on the Earth. But during Archeon, there is a lack of atmospheric oxygen. After Archeon comes the third eon, and this third eon is Proterozoic eon, right? Proterozoic, the head eon, Archeon, and the Proterozoic eon. This Proterozoic eon is existed for around 2,500 to 541 million years, and the earlier form of bacteria, algae, and some jellyfish began to start existing on the earth. And now there are now this Proterozoic eon for the first time is divided into eras. There are the three eras of Proterozoic eon. This the Proterozoic the eras are the Paleoproterozoic era, Mesoproterozoic era, and the Neoproterozoic era. Right? In Proterozoic era, in Proterozoic era, oxygen was there, right? And the complex form of life started existing on the Earth in Proterozoic period. For the first time, the Proterozoic period was divided into era, that is the Paleoproterozoic, Mesoproterozoic, and the Neoproterozoic. Then comes the fourth one, the Phanerozoic eon. The Phanerozoic eon is the current eon of the geological time span, right? Now we are living in the Phanerozoic eon, and this Phanerozoic eon spans across 541 million years to the present, right? During this eon, there is an abundant form of animals and the plant existed, because in today we can see the various forms of plants and animals. The Phanerozoic eon is the present eon. This eon is further divided into eras, three eras like Proterozoic eon, that is the Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and the Cenozoic era. And for the first time, these eras are further divided into periods. Cenozoic era is divided into this Phanerozoic era. Phanerozoic era is divided into, uh, I'm sorry, Phanerozoic eon is divided into three eras, that is the Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and Cenozoic era. And these eras for the first time is divided into periods, right? Paleozoic era, the Paleozoic era, we saw the evolution of lizards, crocodiles, especially reptiles and dinosaurs and mammals during this era, during this period, right? And oxygen was there during this period. This period was further divided into ages. This era was further divided into ages or the periods such as the Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and the Permian. Cambrian period of Paleozoic era is it started from 541 to 485 million years ago, and the species like the marine animals underwent the evolution during this period. And then comes the Ordovician period. Ordovician period spans for 485 to 444 million years ago, right? And many of the species are still prevalent today. Then comes the Silurian period. A significant evolution of period was appearance of the jawfish and the bony fish. And then comes the next is the Devonian period of this. The Devonian period spanned across 60.3 million years ago. And during the Devonian period, plants began to appear, and the various types of insects also appeared. Right, during Devonian period, the vertebrates with the spinal cord surfaced, and then they start walking on their legs. Then come the Carboniferous period. Carboniferous period, it is named. It gets its name from the coal because during Carboniferous period, various coal beds were formed globally during this time, right? And this was a period of the development of mammals, amphibians, and reptiles. And then comes Carboniferous period was further divided into ages or epochs, that is the Pennsylvanian and Mississippian. Then Permian period, then comes the next is the Permian period. Permian period is the largest period of Paleozoic um, era. This period was predominated by the reptiles, birds, and the mammals. And the Permian period is further divided into three ages: the Caesulian period, Guadalupian period, and the Lopegian period. Then comes the Mesozoic era. Mesozoic era is the age of reptile. It is divided into three periods: the Triassic period, Jurassic period, and the Cretaceous period. Triassic period is the shortest period, and the dinosaur appeared during the Triassic period of Mesozoic era. Then the Jurassic period, the birds started appearing during the Jurassic period, right? And the earliest lizards and the marine reptiles were abundantly found during the Jurassic period. Then the Cretaceous period. Cretaceous period is the longest geological period of Phanerozoic eon, right? And the flowering plants started appearing during this eon. New kind of birds and mammals started surfacing during this period, and the dinosaur and reptile died out during this period. Then the Cenozoic era comes. After Mesozoic era comes the last era of Phanerozoic era called the Cenozoic era. This era again subdivided into two separate periods. During during this era, there are the flowering plants, cooling and drying climate was there, and the current arrangement of the continents are there, right? And now this era is known as the age of mammals, and this is further divided into two periods: tertiary period and quaternary periods. Now a tertiary period represented the first geological period of Cenozoic era, and it lasted for approximately 66 million to 2.6 million years ago. And this period began with extinction of non-avian dinosaurs, and this period further has five ages or epochs. That is the Paleocene epoch. The Paleocene epoch, the major event was the climate modification is there. During the Paleocene epoch, there was a great release of the carbon dioxide, which impacted the climate conditions or the temperature of the Earth, and this resulted in the rise of the global temperature. The Eocene epoch is it is there is an impact of the greenhouse gases during the Eocene period. Greenhouse gases played a significant role in controlling the temperature of the Earth, and it is responsible for drastic climatic changes. Then comes the Oligocene epoch. Oligocene epoch, there are the global climatic changes, and during this, there is a rise in the ice volume, but decrease in the sea level. Then the Miocene epoch. During Miocene epoch, the climate slowly cooled down and enter into the ice age, right? And during this, there was an evolution or the appearance of the apes, right? The apes appear for the first time. The plants, mammals, and the animals are comparatively modern during this epoch. Then the Pliocene epoch. Pliocene epoch. In During this epoch, the release of carbon dioxide was much more, and this epoch saw the formation of ice caps, and this resulted in significant climatic changes, right? And with this epoch, the tertiary period comes to an end, and this give rise to the quaternary period, which is the last and the most recent period of Cenozoic era. The quaternary period. What is the quaternary period? Quaternary period. The Quaternary period began around 2.6 million years ago and extended up to present. This period began around 2.6 million years ago and extended up to the present. It experienced a massive climate changes that molded the land tremendously. During this period, there are the tremendous climate changes, and these climate changes impacted the land, the earth. And this period has two epochs or ages: the Pleistocene, when the Ice Age begins and the earliest human appears. This quaternary period is further divided into two epochs or ages. The first age is the Pleistocene. Pleistocene is when the Ice Age begins and the earliest human appears. And again, then it was followed by Holocene, when the Ice Age ends and human becomes dominant. Holocene. The third epoch was the Anthropocene, has been proposed, but Anthropocene is not yet officially recognized by the International Commission of Stratigraphy or ICS. So, the quaternary period is divided into two epochs basically. The first epoch is Pleistocene. Pleistocene is when the Ice Age begins and the earliest human appears. Then comes the Holocene period. What is the Holocene period? Holocene period is when Ice Age ends and human becomes dominant. The third, we consider there is a third epoch, that is the Anthropocene, but this third is not yet internationally recognized by the stratigraphy or ICS. The Anthropocene and the global warming. The Anthropocene is related to various human activities. What is Anthropocene? As I told you, Anthropocene is a combination of two anthropo and scene. Anthropo and scene. The Anthropocene is related to human activities. That is, anthropo means human and scene is recent. So it is related to human activities, and because of human activities, the global warming there is a global warming and a change in the climate, right? Anthropocene and global warming can be taken as one of the most alarming issues of the earth. It is impacting our earth. It is closely entwined with plural aspects of our society like economics, sociology, geopolitics, and regional politics. This global warming is because of the activities of human, and this issue is related with our society, because it is related to human actions, and everything which is related to human action is because is related to the society. And when it is related to the society, there are many aspects of this, aspects like economics, aspects like geopolitics and the regional politics. There are the various regions of global warming. The first and the foremost reason for global warming is industrial revolution. Industrial revolution played an important role in development. No doubt, industrial revolution was one of the factors of the development, but again, it was one of the reason for the global warming or the climate changes. It played an important role in the development, but what was amiss was the exercise of any environmental ethics or constraint. There was no environmental ethics or constraint, so it impacted our earth, our environment. The public sphere maintained a dead silence when it came to shield the environment and its rudiments on the name of development. Instead, the public was more engaged in accomplishing the greatness of industrial revolution by churning more and more productivity, because of the industrial revolution there was an economic growth, and because of this economic growth we overlooked the impact of industrial revolution on our climate. And the public supported this industrial revolution for the sake of the development. And as the industrialization sped up, so did the world population and eventually the temperature of the earth, leading to the global warming. As because of the development, as the industrialization goes up, it has there was a development, the world population was growing too, and the industrialization and increased population impacted the earth environment, and this resulted in the global warming. Another factors which impacted the global warming was the destruction of the forest, along with burning of fossil fuels. There was an industrialization, then we are cutting the forests, we are destructing the forests, and then the third factor was the burning of the fossil fuel. This burning of the fossil fuel releases carbon dioxide. When the level of carbon dioxide goes up, and there were other greenhouse gases which rises abnormally in the atmospheric level. Carbon dioxide plays an important role in global warming along with other gases which impacts the global temperature, right? So industrialization, deforestation, and then the burning of the fossil fuels, more population are few of the factors which are responsible for global warming. The little ice age, the little ice age referred to a period of extensive cooling that came immediately after the medieval warm period. After the medieval warm period, a period of extensive cooling came. That period is known as the Little Ice Age. Medieval warm period. Immediately after the Little Ice Age, the earth was quite warm. This impact was felt in Europe, where harvests were plenty and urbanization speed up and population nearly doubled. Right? The medieval warm period was the warm period in Europe, right? That is the medieval warm period. And after the medieval warm period, the Little Ice Age come. And what is the Roman warm period? This period was unusually warm weather in Europe and the North Atlantic that spanned across 250 BC to AD 400. This warm period was partly responsible for advances in civilization, it has dangerous drawbacks as well. Now, let us trace the historical roots of global warming in Anthropocene. John Tyndall was the first scientist to measure the absorption and emission of various gases and vapors, of which he showed carbon dioxide had a very significant impact. This John Tyndall measures the absorption and emission of various gases and weapons, and according to him, the carbon dioxide has a significant impact on the global warming. And he inferred that oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen are completely transparent to infrared radiation and other gases, and water vapors, carbon dioxide, and ozone are opaque. This was a significant step towards the understanding the concept of global warming. So Tyndall was the one who played a very important role in global warming. This concept, global warming concept, was studied more carefully and with greater precision by Svante Arrhenius in 1896. He was the first scientist who made the first quantitative prediction of global warming. According to him, the increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide was instrumental cause behind the global warming. So, carbon dioxide is one of the reason for global warming. According to him, if one doubles the concentrated level of carbon dioxide, it would by default increase the mean annual temperature at the equator by 8.91 degree Fahrenheit. If the level of the carbon dioxide increases, then there will be a mean increase of the temperature at equator by 8.19 degree Fahrenheit. Right? Pollution. Now we'll discuss about the pollution. What is pollution? Pollution is the introduction of contaminants into the natural environment that inflicts severe damage to the environment. Any contaminated thing into our natural environment which impacts or which severely damage the environment is pollution. The components of the pollution usually called pollutants. The pollutants may be foreign substances or energies or the natural occurring contaminants. So anything which contaminates our natural environment and which damages our environment is known as the pollution, and the component of pollutions are called the pollutants. It could be the foreign substances or it could be the natural occurring contaminants. There are various types of pollutions like air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution. Nowadays, we call it another type of a pollution is there, that is the plastic pollution. What is air pollution? Air pollution is the addition of any substance to the environment, may it be the solid, liquid, gas, or even the form of energy such as heat or a sound or a radioactivity in a determinatial way may be termed as pollution. Any substance which has been added to the environment, be it a solid, liquid, gas, heat, or anything, right, in a determinatial way which impacts the quality of our air is known as the air pollution. Rapid urbanization and industrial development impacted the urban air quality. So, urbanization is one of the reason for the air pollution. Industrial development is another reason for the air pollution, and the vehicular and industrial emission is are the other reasons for air pollution. Then burning of biomass fuels like wood, dung, these leads to the deterioration of the quality of air. And the long term exposure to the pollutants led to a broad range of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, and these diseases could be fatal. So it is very important that we should take care of our environment, air pollution. Next is water pollution. We'll discuss about the water pollution in our next lecture. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Namaskar.